and it's worth nothing, and you have to work more, and then you work more and they tax it again. So then they're forcing you to work again, and the money you've already made isn't worth as much anymore now. And that's not nice. Okay. And this is why we have something that came along like cryptocurrencies, and people really see that, okay, well, this might be, the future of currency, because we've seen that currency changed. It can change several times. There could be something else that comes out. Now, the problem with cryptocurrency is, well, let's talk about the good points. The good points is it is scarce. So you can have something like Bitcoin, which is there's 21 million coins maximum, and there's never going to be more than that. So you know that. You know that if you have one of them, and we agree that this is the currency that we're going to use, you're not losing value with time. It's actually going to gain value, right? But the problem with cryptos is it's not a unit of value. And if it doesn't fulfill all of these three, it doesn't work. So I cannot come and say an Apple is 0.1 Bitcoin. I can't come and say an iPhone is 0.5 Bitcoins. I can't, because the price of Bitcoin fluctuates so much, right? So this causes a problem, and we can't go to that because of this. But, maybe they're going to fix that in a way, right, in the future. And if it does, then people might not want to hold their currency anymore, their paper fiat currency, and use another currency, a global currency, maybe. So all of this you have to be aware of, because, we're living. We're going to experience these things that are going to happen. You always, people, when they look at dollar money, they're like, well, no, it's always been like that. No, it hasn't. It's only been 50 years. 50 years is nothing. So our parents, or if you're over 50 years old, then you've seen currency that was actually gold. It was, you could use an IOU, but it was actual gold. The IOU itself was worthless. So, people who say like, well, it's impossible that change. It's been like that forever. It's not true. It's only been like that for 50 years. So there's a very high probability for it to change. And if it changes, well, you have to be aware of that, because if you're trading in that market, you can make a huge event-based trade that will change your life. So just being aware of these things and thinking about them puts you in a position that when something actually happens, you will have the confidence to put in money and execute a trade that can make an impact for you. So how are we actually going to generate money out of the currencies market, right? Because this is the objective of the course. Learn about the foreign exchange market in order to be able to generate money out of it. So in the lectures that we've went over on the history of money, we understand now that each country has its own currency, right? I live in Canada, so when I go to pay for something, I use Canadian money, Canadian dollar bills. So this is a $20 Canadian bill. But when I went on vacation to Mexico, I couldn't pay for stuff with this bill. I had to use pesos, right? So I had to convert some of my Canadian money to pesos in order to buy stuff there. Now the rate is not constant, like we've saw from the previous lectures, because, each currency isn't backing up their currency by gold. And then you could say, well, if this is worth this much gold and this is worth this much gold, then this is worth this amount of that. They're just floating. Okay. So it's based on supply and demand. So how many dollars would give me how many pesos? Well, it depends on the rate. So let's say this. Let's say you're going on vacation. Let's say I'm going on vacation. Okay. And I'm going I live in Canada, but let's say for simplicity, let's say you're living in the US. And the rate right now from US to pesos, okay, and let's just write it like this. If you want to bring $1 and convert it to pesos, $1 would give you 20 pesos. Okay, this is the current rate. So you have you're going on vacation. You're like, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to bring $100. Okay, let's say it's a short trip. You bring $100. Well, you go to the exchange place. You could go to the airport or wherever, and they exchange $100 and you get 2,000 pesos. Now, you stay there for a week. And let's say when you go there, you ended up not spending any money. Your friends paid for everything. You have really cool friends. You didn't spend anything. So you come back to the States, and then you're like, well, I have all these pesos here. What am I going to do with them? Right? What am I going to do with these 2,000? I want to convert them back to US. Well, the currency rate, the exchange rate might have changed. Right? It could be something different now. So let's say that when you're coming back, the exchange rate changed, and now the new rate is $1 will only give you 16 pesos. That's the new rate, right? So this would mean that pesos actually gained in value. So $1 can't get you as much pesos as before because pesos are more expensive. So, it takes time to understand this. So if $1 gets you less of something, that means that other thing became stronger. It gained in value. Okay. So how many US dollars are you going to be able to get back with your 200 pesos? Well, you have those pesos that are more valuable now. So you'll probably be able to get more US dollars. So what you would do is, 2,000 divided by 16, right? So I'll open a calculator here. You get 2,000 divided by 16, because each 16 pesos are going to give you $1. That gives you $125. So you go back to the airport and you go see the exchange shop and you convert it back, and now you get 125 US dollars, making in profit, right, $25. Because you had 100 initially, but now you ended up having 125 bucks. So you made $25 because of that exchange rate fluctuation. Now, if the exchange rate changed differently, meaning the pesos, $1 could bring you, 30 pesos, well, you would have lost money because pesos wouldn't have been worth as much anymore. Okay. Now, are you really gonna do this to make money? Are you gonna go on vacation and not spend money? No. You can just convert the money, keep it. If you had some analysis that told you, you know what, I think the peso is gonna strengthen, so I want to hold pesos right now because in relation to the US dollars, it's gonna strengthen. So I'm gonna hold it and then I'm gonna convert it back. You could have made money like that without even going on vacation. But you don't want to go to the exchange shop and exchange money because there's fees and stuff like that, and there's time. You can open an account with a broker, which we're going to do all of that, and do it from home. Do it from your cell phone. It takes seconds, right? And this is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be speculating on the exchange rates and try to generate money out of it. Now, what is the actual exchange rate between US and pesos? You can actually just Google it. US to pesos. And here, so $1 is 18.77 Mexican pesos right now. So if you change it right now, it would be for that amount. Now it changes all the time, every minute. It's different, right? But we'll look into that in the next lectures. So I gave an example about converting US dollars to Mexican pesos. And I said it was $1 to 20 pesos. Well, what is that? How do we talk about this? When you talk about a currency in relation to another currency, we call this a currency pair. So you'll often hear this term, what currency pair are you trading? Which pair are you looking at? So a currency pair is just quoting one currency against another. So USD to Mexican pesos, or any combination of currencies. Now, in this currency pair, there's two currencies. You have the base currency and the quote currency. The first one is going to be your base currency. And the second one is going to be your quote currency. So if, let's say for the previous example that we had, and I said USD, let's see here, USD to Mexican pesos. Okay. Well, we would have said that this here, the USD, this is what we would call our base currency. Okay? It's our base currency. And the Mexican pesos is our quote currency. Okay? So this would be the base currency and this would be the quote currency. Okay? Because you're saying the base currency is always one, right? So you're saying $1, how much can that give me in Mexican pesos? So the first one, the base currency, is the one we're relating to, saying, well, how much one of this is going to be worth in the other one. And the other one, the second one, the quote currency, is the one we're quoting. So we're giving a quote on it. We're saying, well, we're quoting a price of $20, 20 pesos for this $1. Or we're quoting at 18 pesos 0.7 for $1. Okay, so this is the base currency, quote currency. Now, the way we write these currencies, why didn't we just write US? Or why didn't we just write peso? Why did we write this? Because each currency is identified by its ISO currency code. ISO stands for International Organization for Standardization. And basically, if I open it here, okay, so you'll see that for each country in the world, you have a code, right? The ISO code. And this code is 3 letters. And let's say if I go to Canada, and it's just a standard, so everybody can understand each other. For Canada, the code is CAD, so CAD, and it tells you here Canadian dollar. If you want to go, I don't know, China, CNY, yuan, right? Yuan,